Hello out there to all the uncensored cinephiles. We are back with another assigned seating, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, co-producer, co-everything, the lovely Luke. How
Yeah,
are you?
I'm good, Steve. I didn't realise until you played that intro that I'm like, this is my first assigned seating I've
It
ever done.
is. It is your
Yeah,
first assigned seating, so
I know.
um,
What a doozy.
we're going to have to be gentle, or maybe we'll just bite you on the earlobe to distract you from the pain, hey?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's always
Or, you,
nice.
or do you like to sock him in the face and yell, "Pop goes the weasel"? Whatever.
Look, I think for the purposes of reviewing this film, we should do Sockers to the face. Because
Okay,
that's what
cool.
Gina Davis would do.
That's what Gina would WWGD. What would Gina do? So Luke has given you a hint as to what we are doing. For those of you that haven't joined us here on Assigned Seating, this is our movie review show. We do, of course, have uncensored horror, which Luke is a co-everything on with me and Katie and Brooke. But this is for movies that don't really fit that category
Yeah.
because we
These
will
are
say,
films
oh,
that we've chatted about, and then we're like, oh, yeah, we can't review that. And now we're like, why can't we? We just throw a
yeah,
new title on it.
anything from, classic cinema to cult fan favorites. This is what we do. So this is where we choose to, get all those movies that don't really fit the flow of uncensored horror, and we tend to like to get a newbie and a fan of the movie. But this one, Luke and I are both fans of, and we're going to talk about it. A cult classic this time, and something we haven't done on Assigned Seating. We haven't done an action movie yet, and this is
No.
pretty hard action, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about 1996's The Long Kiss Goodnight. Now,
1996, eat your heart out.
1996. I didn't realize it was that long ago until I looked it up. I was like, oh dear. We would have been in. Oh wait, no, just in high school. Wait, 96. Yeah, in high
Yeah.
school.
Well, think around this era was kind of when Gina stopped being in everything, like she'd gone from, like she was still A-list at this point, but
There
this
is a
was a
very
detour. Yeah.
no. There is a very big discussion that we're going to have at the end of the movie about just what happens to Gina Davis because
Okay.
something happened. But if you have not, as we always do a preface, if you have not seen The Long Kiss Goodnight and want to join the conversation, pause the podcast now and come back and, join us. But I remember this film, and I think you'll agree. This was a video shop classic, this one. The first time I saw it was on
Yeah.
V8 and it was a constant rental. I saw it once and I'm like, this is amazing. It was on pretty heavy rotation, this one. I enjoyed it.
I actually was in Alice Springs of all places, and we decided to go to the video. Like they had heaps of video stores there, but this was back during video store time.
Payday.
Yeah, and I remember going. It was a Thursday night. I think you got 2 for 1 or something on a Thursday, and Long Kiss Goodnight was put in. Yes.
Yeah. So
And
I
look,
just remember. Yeah.
it's very much. It was It's a 90s movie. Like, that as soon as you're in for the ride.
Capital A action 90s movie, isn't it?
Yes.
It feels weird to, I think, especially in the modern day when a lot of our action movies are comic book based, that people get shot in this movie, and just random people just get shot and stabbed and killed. And it's like, oh, okay, we didn't like that was like, up there with the body count in this movie. It's like, oh, you got the way, it's all over. It's like, oh, okay.
Now, can we actually talk about like what this movie was meant to try and be for Gina Davis, or what it was, I guess, but whether
we'll talk about it, but let's give the people a little bit of an idea of where we start. So the Long Kiss we'll do a little mini synopsis. Gina Davis plays Samantha Kane, who is a small town school teacher. She lives in this small town with her daughter Caitlin and her boyfriend. And it seems a pretty
Oh, so
ordinary
she's a
life.
single mum that shacked up with a new bloke.
It seems like a pretty simple life. But in the narrative, in the narration in the beginning, we find out that 8 years earlier, Sam was washed up on a beach in New Jersey with no memory of who she was, and no memory of who she was, and pregnant. So she woke up and had to basically construct a life that she knew nothing about. She knows that she has a lot of scars on her body, and that she has a daughter, and that to her knowledge, as she says, she is 8 years old and a school teacher. So that's
Not
an
bad.
interesting
Completed
premise to
education degree at age 8.
So she's never managed to actually get answers. She's hired private investigator after private investigator to no luck. And we meet the last guy on the case, one Mr. Mitch Hennessy, played by full throttle 90s Samuel L. Jackson. Like full on Samuel L. Jackson from the 90s.
Can I just say, though, weren't these two a fun pair, though? Like the most random pairing in the world.
Casting is fantastic for these two. Like, they play off each other so well. But it's creepy when you look at Sam Jackson in this movie and in the Marvel stuff now when they've de-aged him in like Captain Marvel and certain movies when it looks exactly the same. So
Long Kiss Goodnight, filmmakers might be able to sue. They could be ripping the imagery.
Technology is just amazing now that you can look at Samuel L. Jackson from 1996 and go, okay, he can still look the same today. And that's very interesting.
That's actually really frightening, though. Like, I know there's barely any limits in Hollywood anymore, but like, you know, they could start to cast movies with deceased actors.
How long till deceased actors make a return?
They already done. Her name was Carrie Fisher.
Well, she's still got one movie to come out, so her final movie comes out very soon. Actually, this year.
There you go.
But here's a question. Here's a question for you. Is this a Christmas movie? Because all of the action happens during the Christmas vacation.
Well, there's a lot of snow. There's a lot of snow. And I guess it's like the Die Hard category. Like, is this Christmas movie because it happens at Christmas and there's lots of ice and stuff?
It's like a female Die Hard, this one. It's
No, they even ran with Christmas for the theme.
They did, Christmas. So after they host a Christmas party, Samantha, being the good citizen that she is, decides to drive a drunken friend of the family home, where he accidentally distracts her from the road, and they collide with a deer, and he gets like fucked up. He dies, I would assume, because he's still in the car when it stops and bursts into flames.
Do we never see him in the movie again?
No, you just see him in the car as the flames start to light up, and like no one seems to be.
What a way to kick off the body count!
I know, right? But Sam, after she's thrown from the car and is bloodied, discovers the dying deer and snaps its neck before passing out next to it. Now,
she could have helped her mate and fire in the bloody car.
That's that was intense. That was intense. She grabbed those antlers and gave him a snap. It's like, oh
yeah,
right.
So she has a little bit of something else going on, right?
Something is happening. Yeah, we don't know whether it's or something else is reoccurring. So after she is, back to normal, back in the family home, there's a lovely little warm and fuzzy cooking scene, which is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Just a little banter. Everyone knows that she's the town amnesiac, and the kids like talk about her behind them, like as like an urban legend almost. But she's got some knife skills. She's got some amazing knife
This is
skills.
all leading to something, isn't it?
Chopping until she gets that tomato, throws it in the air, and pins it to the wall with a kitchen knife. And
As most mums do.
One of the best lines in the movie. Chefs do that. It's like, that is. And she's just so cool about it too. Like, okay, high school teacher. So what I want to discuss now with you, because we are Uncensored Horror and we have seen some of Rennie Harlan's work, the director.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, especially this beginning part, it's very comparable, I guess you would say, to another one of his famous works. Do you know what I'm getting at here?
No. I'm trying to follow here.
So think of, a franchise that, might have had a little bit to do with some dreams.
Oh, it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Rennie Harlan directed Nightmare on Elm Street 4. The Dream, which featured a strong female lead who magically gets, powers and turns into from meek and mild little person to kick-ass assassin, basically.
Yeah.
I just recently watched this, and the imagery, especially when Sam is starting to have her flashes into like her subconscious, are very Nightmare on Elm Street. Very.
Now that you've said it, and now that the link has been made very obvious to me, I do see little throwbacks to Nightmare 4, or just what would I say, common threads or familiarity, like the way
common motifs we'll go with, hey?
There we go. Yes, motifs.
So she is having these flashbacks on a dark, windswept cliff where she's looking at herself in the mirror and she slowly morphs into another person who is coming for her when she's unconscious. It's like, oh, all right, Freddie. All right, Freddie, calm down.
So Gina's character has some issues, though, right?
Gina's character has some issues internally, but she has some bigger issues because meanwhile, amidst all this, there is a shot of a jail, maximum security prison, where a surly, one-eyed person sees footage of the Christmas Queen, Mrs. Claus, and reacts very, very badly to it. He is, not happy that she seems to be alive.
Okay, so
who is this mysterious person, we ask ourselves.
He knows her. He knows her before she woke up on that beach.
He does. He knows her. And, we are starting to meet characters that know of her. But how do they know of her? What is the mystery? What is the mystery behind that she is alive? Well, that mystery gets kind of really solved quite quickly when One-Eyed Jack, as they call him, breaks into their home, holds those poor carolers to ransom, and is going to kill them. But not before another one of my favorite scenes in this movie, where we've recovered from the car accident and chefs do that, etc., etc. But Mummy, we have a little quality mum-daughter time where we're learning to ice skate. Do you know the child actress that plays her daughter, that plays Caitlin?
Oh, she is familiar to me.
Familiar?
Who is she?
Her name is Yvonne Zima.
Oh, that's not helping.
Zima. So Zima is the last name of an actress that was in a very popular sitcom in the 90s. She played a child.
Yeah, I'm figuring that much.
She played a rich child, that had a nanny.
Oh, yes. Played the nanny.
Yeah. So she played her sister, Madeline, played the
Yep.
youngest daughter in The Nanny. So Yvonne is
Yeah.
Madeline's younger sister and really
Okay,
does
so the sister's an
quite
actress and already had established work but didn't get the part in the nanny. Oh,
she was too young. She was too young.
okay.
1996, The Nanny was nearly over.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
Maddie was
got to
already well through. Yeah.
how long this was. Yeah, The Nanny was in the
Yep, yep,
90s. So
yep.
yeah, she's the little sister and quite a good actress because we find out that Caitlin can't skate and Sam's giving her a little bit of a skating lesson and I think with well intention and and Sam, the woman who is Sam, tries to get her to skate, gives her a little push, and she falls down onto her wrist and starts complaining that her wrist hurts. She doesn't want to skate anymore.
Oh, she's piking. Does this bring
Yes,
out the other side of Sam?
it does.
Yeah,
Like
can't stand weakness, eh?
my wrist hurts. Life hurts. Deal with it. Oh, that's parenting. That's parenting 101 there, I thought. I thought that was
Yeah.
great. Life hurts. Deal with it. So, and she
You
says,
know,
you
we
will
don't all
skate.
need to come wake up out of a coma on a beach and be this
No,
parent, No, you
no.
can be a bit harsh on your kids
But
anyway.
look, there's some reinforcement issues, but I do like that. You're going to skate, princess, to all the way to the shore and not fall once. She's like, she's gone. So that was a very interesting parent moment. But again, it's a moment that Sam doesn't remember. She's lapsing in and out of I guess cognizance of what's happening between her and this mystery woman that's visiting her in her dreams and her subconscious. So as
The
we said,
realities are blurring, Bubs.
yeah, the attack on the house happens, and I don't know what kind of gun this guy has, but his shotgun blows a hole in their wall. Like, that's insane.
In fairness, shotguns probably would. Like the damage that they do in movies and stuff, a lot of guns, they downplay it a bit. Like you can't shoot, people all shooting at a car, it just drives off. Like that shit
Yeah.
will have holes in it.
Yeah, but this wall explodes, and for a suburban mum, she does quite well because this is still Samantha at the moment that is reacting, that picks up
Little
her
home
child,
invasion.
picks her up like a sack of potatoes, throws her through the hole in the wall that just happens to be level with the treehouse outside, manages to get her child to safety. But I was like, that's amazing. But I've got to give it up, especially like this early on. Got to give it up to Gina Davis in this movie, man. She kicks ass.
Well, that's like this was meant to be a vehicle where she was going to prove that she could do these kind of movies. That's what I've read. Yeah, that she could do it, and she did a lot of the stuff herself.
And it never looks forced or unnatural. I tried to really look this time and go, oh, stunt double wears, but I couldn't really see it. Like they've edited it that well, and she's done enough of her own stunt work that it's not discernible that it's somebody else. Like unlike other movies and TV shows that we've all seen where it is rapidly a person in a wig that stepped in from the start.
Or they suddenly have a bald spot and stuff.
Or they're suddenly a man in a wig, that happens.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. But yeah, so poor Hal gets just fucking his ass kicked. He's done. He's useless. She, meanwhile, she cops it. She gets thrown through a glass door. She gets hit by, punched out, hit by a cookie jar. She gets smashed. She gets smashed, but something kicks in her, and she manages to manifest that inner whatever, and takes this guy out hardcore. Like, he's done. But once it's done and she is slowly licking the blood and cream off her finger, which is a bit creepy. It's like, and Hal sees it.
Yeah,
She seems to snap back. She snaps back into it and goes, "Oh shit, where's Caitlin?" Oh, and runs out. Meanwhile, of course, Samuel L. Jackson has come to save the day because he picked up a hot lead on her past. So he has saved the child as the police arrive. And he just has the best one-liners in this movie. Like when she's like, "Yeah, listen to the girl, don't shoot him." She's like, okay, cool. But this poor.
So I mean, it's the most weirdest pairing: Samuel L. Jackson and Gina Davis in an action film. It's like they just threw all these concepts into a bingo roller and just pulled out stuff. And like, yeah, let's do it. But it works.
It's working. So knowing that she is seemingly a danger to Hal and Caitlin, she leaves them to pursue the lead that Mitch has, and leaves Mr. Perkins, the bear, with a charm bracelet that she has had since she can remember, and the cellular phone, portable phone, I think she calls it. Well, this is 1996, so this is beginning of phone, like one of those big ones, so she can call Mummy anytime she wants.
Yeah.
She also
Ghostface was still calling Drew on the landline.
Yeah. She was giving her a candle to hold a vigil so she could find her way home. All very touching motherly things to do. They do the right thing. She does the right thing before she leaves. Now, they have a lead, basically. The reason why Mitch and Sam leave is that they found a suitcase which contains property of Sam's, and a note directed them to find a Dr. Nathan Walden, who they set up a meeting.
So there wasn't school supplies in this.
No,
suitcase,
this seemingly hints to her past life.
Oh.
So that about her engagement to be married, and all of these mysterious threads that start to dangle and really, let people kind of piece together what's happening. So there is an arrangement to meet Dr. Walden, but the government has tapped the phone line. Why is the government involved at all?
Yeah, this is strange. Yeah. Well, they must know who she is.
Who can say? So Samantha and Mitch stop at. It's such a weird mix of movies. It's a road movie as well. They're stopping in these like little hotels on the way.
I know. It's like they threw all these balls in the bingo thingy and like, let's just pull them out. Let's put this all in one movie.
And so they have a little tiff in their adjoining rooms, and Samantha, out of nowhere, has an inkling to remove the bottom of her suitcase, where she finds a huge disassembled sniper rifle, which she puts together like no one's business.
Okay, so she may have not been a teacher before she woke up on the beat.
Who knows? Well, she taught something, that's for sure. Along with a knife. That she then has another little, nightmare moment where her mirror image, this person that is manifesting, slits her throat, and she wakes up. But the rifle is fully assembled on the bed. So she freaks out, runs to grab the rifle, turns around as Mitch enters the room and nearly shoots him in the head. And there's comedy in this as well. Like there's physical comedy, there's like Samuel L. Jackson's comedy. It's a mixed bag.
It's a buddy movie, a road trip movie.
They have a little, we'll talk more
female
about it.
lead.
Yeah. So this was very nearly the parting of the ways, but Sam begs him to stay because she needs him. She has no other knowledge. So they head towards Dr. Walden. Meanwhile, in the background, we are discovering an operative who is not the nicest guy in the world. I don't know that we discover his name is Mitch for a while, but Mitch seems to like to torture people and is very much involved and concerned.
Oh, wait. You were just saying that Mitch was
Oh, not Mitch,
Samuel L.
sorry.
Jackson.
What's this guy's name? What's his name? The bad guy.
Around half an hour.
His name? Hold on. Timothy. Why did I not get Timothy right? Timothy, Craig Berko. He's you know him. He's like the stereotypical 90s douche. He just happens to be a sociopathic murderer in this one. Stabbing people, but very interested in Charlie and
Oh,
did I let something slip? Sam. Very interested in Sam and what Sam is doing, and the fact that this woman, who is known as Sam, is alive. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Very odd stuff.
Interesting. So yes, they head to the train station where these two actually have their first encounter face to face. And he is very concerned about he does it in the premise of hitting on her. And she's like, she's still being a good suburban mum about it.
Yeah.
And
she has no idea who he is.
No idea who he is. So he orders a hit on her to happen in this train station.
Oh.
Holy balls. Holy ballsack. This goes insane. This goes insane. The fake she sees the thing is that she sees the gun that the fake Dr. Walden's holding first. And she is the one that she takes him out with a gun that's in Mitch's pocket. Like, I don't know that teachers know how to do that. It would be handy if they did today in the American schools.
I'm very strongly leaning towards the fact that she may have not been a teacher.
Oh, look, yeah. Who can say? But she is. I love the duality that she plays. And the snap between the two
personas.
We'll say personas because it's all going to come out soon. But when she can barely hold a gun without fumbling, but then she can take out a guy with 2 shots from a jacket pocket. One of my favorite parts of this movie is when they get trapped in the corridor upstairs, and they're like, the hand grenade comes in, and Samuel L. Jackson says, "No way out," and you just see her grab the semi-automatic hand machine gun that he has, and her shotgun. They run. She shoots out a window. They jump out the window, fire huge fireball. As she shoots out the ice in the lake next door.
Oh, yes.
So cool. I'm like, what? What is that? Who can do that? Like,
it was very hectic. And I guess it was like, we're starting now to get a taste of like, this is going to be like a full-on action movie now. It's not going to...
I think the amount of people that got killed at that train station... probably suggest that it is an action movie. As they surface, the real Dr. Walden happens to pull up out of nowhere and get them in the car. And this is amazing actor, Mr. Brian Cox, who has been in everything. And Brian Cox is fantastic in it, and he's nothing short of fantastic here. So he gives Charlie back to Samantha. So he lets her know that her name has never been Samantha. She is Charlene Elizabeth Charlie Baltimore, a second generation assassin that worked for the American government for a group called Chapter. Highly, secret ops, CIA thing. So I think that is as far from suburban school teacher as you can get. Now,
a little bit. Like, if you had that on your resume, you probably wouldn't go for a teaching job. Look,
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
no,
So,
no.
so Samuel L. Jackson's Mitch has trouble believing him, so they shake Walden and they can't trust him. So they chase up another name that was found in the suitcase. A guy named Luke. And in the literature that's in the case, it talks about an engagement to Luke. So she believes that this was Charlie's former fiance. They go to engage. Meanwhile, we are getting constant references to a big bad guy named Daedalus, who is directing things from behind the scenes and is very interested in what's happening to Charlie and why she's resurfaced after all these years. So they turn up to the farm. They turn up to the farm and find Charlie, and Mitch is suspicious, of course. Dr. Walden returns, but Charlie slash Sam. I guess we can call her Charlie now, right? Charlie
Yes.
is
Gina Davis.
Yes, Charlie is certain that she knows this guy because she knows intimate details about him, like he's sitting down and stuff like that. So Mitch is happy enough to let him and her have a little private time until Dr. Walden returns and puts two and two together that engagement is a code word and that Charlie is actually contracted to take out Luke.
This guy.
Daedalus. At which point, a helicopter arrives out of nowhere and starts shooting at them. Cue one of the coolest scenes in the movie again. I think this is what, if you've seen this movie, you know that this is kind of where it really kind of kicks into revenge fantasy. This is where we get a famous interrogation scene. So she is tied to a water wheel.
Like a wheel. Yeah, water wheel.
Yeah.
Wheel. And it's in like a boat shed or something?
Yeah, I would suggest it's some kind of mill or something on the farm. On the farm.
It's in the water.
Freezing cold water, and they want to know exactly what Sam knows. What does Samantha Cain know? Because at the moment, she still doesn't believe that she's Sam. That she's Charlie. Sam doesn't believe she's Charlie. Ugh, this is hard to keep track of. She's
so Gina Davis.
Brown-haired
Gina Davis doesn't believe she's blonde-haired Gina Davis.
No. Samantha is tortured for the information. Stripped down, bra, panties, and a very nice slip. She's tied up and submerged into the freezing ice water where she sees the body of Dr. Walden floating. And this seems to be where the snap happens, the trauma happens, and Charlie fully resurfaces. Samantha is gone at this point. The trauma of, everything that's happened and the cold water, and I would suggest the oxygen deprivation and, the near-death experience of it all jolts her memory, and the past life comes back in fine form. She manages to do what she couldn't do before and kill Daedalus, aka Luke. And yeah, we think that the game is over there, except, it's never really over because we're only halfway through the movie. Timothy escapes, and we find out that Project Honeymoon is something bigger, something perhaps terrorist related or fake terrorist related. There are still clues to be had. There are still clues to drop, So she's ready to kind of go hammer and tongs and go full crazy revenge style fantasy on this. It's great. It's great because this is where we get the physical transformation as well. We go from dowdy, long-haired Gina Davis to cool, short-haired, platinum blonde Gina Davis.
Yeah, like that look that Cartier always like bases her lesbian power hungry looks on, with big shoulder pads, slick blonde hair.
Great. She looks great though. She looks amazing. And yeah, the platinum blonde really brings out the I guess psychopath in her. She's
Secret agent in her.
A little psychopathic at this point. She's very intense. You're like, oh god. Okay. So while they're on the hunt for, for Timothy,
yep.
there just happens to be a little bit of a kidnapping. He finds her daughter and takes her. And again, this guy is like capital E evil. A mother with 2 kids sees him gas the kid and take her away at the Christmas pageant. And he stops in front of her child, holds a knife to I don't think you would get away with this, though. Holds a knife to a child's throat and says you're about to have 2.4 children. If you say anything. It's like, oh, I don't know that we would get away with that today. But,
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Look, he sorted the situation too. He done well. Can't have those squealers.
Yeah. 2 and 2 is put together, and Charlie remembers that, Mitch and her have a quite complicated past. That complicated Project Honeymoon. They slept together.
Wait, her and Tim.
Her and Mitch.
Her and Mitch did. So Mitch did know. Yeah,
Timothy. No, she very nearly sleeps with Tim. She tries to because she's trying to kill off Samantha. She's trying to kill off the good girl. So all of these names are hard to keep track of, people.
Yes.
Charlie and Timothy, who is a psychological operations specialist, by the way, which explains why he's so good at. He does play the cycle. He knew that water was either going to send her crazy or kill her, so he knows the torture. He knows the torture methods,
and he probably knew threatening that mother's kid would shut her up.
So the romance kind of interrupted the Project Honeymoon. Yeah. So, which turns out to be, and the intention was a false flag chemical bomb detonation.
Okay.
So we're going to blame on Islamic terrorists. In 1996.
Yeah.
And this was
I reckon. Nah, Gina, you should have.
This was all in aid to get the CIA more funding to say, look, we can't protect the country. Look what happened. This is now it's an espionage political thriller as well. So this is where One-Eye Jack comes in. He was trusted with the disposal of Charlie when she kind of got all up in her feelings and whatnot about Mitch and all that kind of thing. And she was drugged, and his job was to take her out, but he had to go a touchy no. And we find out how he got one eye. How he was about to give her the hot shot, and she snapped off the syringe in his eye socket. Even today, I was like, "Oh God, that's not good. That's not good."
Yeah.
Now,
so she wasn't happy with him.
He's not. Timothy's not a happy man, and Charlie finally manages to get in contact with the real Mr. Perkins, who was her handler, handler and CIA director at the moment now, Leland Perkins. She wants to report in and be gone. But again, we are wiretapping. Why is the government wiretapping its own agents if it wasn't still intending to launch Project Honeymoon? So we find out that Timothy is now the head head of operations since Daedalus has been taken out, and
Yep.
has the kidnapped Caitlin in Niagara Falls, ready to, right in the midst of things. And he calls her and says, "I'll blind the kid and take out both her knees, shoot out both her knees." This guy is, as I said, capital E evil. He's not a good dude.
No, he's not real nice. No.
No.
Threatening to kill kids everywhere he goes.
Yeah. So this is where Charlie and Mitch go on, I guess, their wild bunch, suicidal mission to try and, first of all, save Caitlin, but second of all, save the United States from going to war and, false flag terrorism and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They are pretty, for two people, they do a lot of damage. They do a lot of damage to a lot of people. And throughout the movie, we've been playing on this sympathy for Samantha, but now there's also, as tough as she is and as intense as she is, then I started to feel a little bit for Charlie as well, because she lost, 8 years of her life. She became a mother when she didn't even know she was a mother. Do you know what I mean? Like, all this happened to her, and she says to Mitch, "They're going to shoot my head off. This is the last time I'll ever be pretty." And I was like, oh, that was actually like quite, I don't know, that just hit me a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. But in full Charlie Baltimore style, she manages to get the kid, but get captured as well. Now, this is a bit intense. He's more than happy to, take her out and kill anyone that gets in his way. This is where Charlie's memory really, really plays in, because she asks him, Timothy, to look in Caitlin's eyes because they're his eyes.
Oh, see,
the mystery father reveals.
Yep, and he's willing to kill his own kid.
Exactly.
Still is too.
But there is a great moment of realization when he does. Like I said, "Look, let me look in your fucking eyes," and then he looks and goes, "Oh, that's me." But still happy to kill them.
Yeah.
Can you ever really discount?
He's committed by this point, though.
Yeah. Can you ever really discount the skills of a CIA former fucking assassin? I don't think you can, because the dolly that was given to her by Mr. Perkins, the real Mr. Perkins, not the bear, just happens to be full of kerosene. Because, Charlie's that good. She gets a meat hook out of the freezer, hacks out a thing, takes out the kid's retainer, squeezes out the petrol.
Oh, MacGyver's a way out, doesn't she?
Well, tries to, because she can't get a spark off the meat hook in the freezer. He's turned it down to ridiculous freezing temperatures, so they die. But she can't get a spark because of the cold. Lucky daughter takes after mum, because she held on to the matches for the candle vigil. Yet another Samuel L. Jackson. I think he must have secondhand deafness from this. He gets thrown out in explosions this whole film, but that's what he does. He does that. He escapes. They get out, and he tries to get Charlie and Caitlin out. Which ultimately, it looks like anyway, he has to sacrifice himself. So he gets quite lit up. He's full of bullets by the end of it. And Caitlin is told to run and hide. Which is fine, that's what happens. You hide. But she just happens to hide in the truck that is full of the chemical explosive that is headed to...
I know. This kid is a pain in the ass by this point. Yeah. Really? There's bad shit going down. You're going to go and hide?
Yeah. This new this new plan is to detonate the weapon in the center of a city to take out about 4,000 people in the middle of a Christmas parade. So
It
once
is a
Mitch,
Christmas movie.
yeah, it is a Christmas movie. Once
Yeah.
Mitch and Charlie find out that the kids in the truck, they got to go after the kid in the truck now.
Pain in the ass.
So, they got to go. They got to go.
So wait, Charlie was quite happy just to let 4,000 randoms blow up at this point.
They didn't know it was going to happen. All this has happened because
Ah.
of Charlie being too good. The attack's going to happen early. It's on,
Yep.
It's happening. It's happening. But Fierce Mama Bear manages to chase down the truck, overpower the driver, and get it away from the Christmas parade, but not before the brakes blow out. She manages to get it onto Niagara Falls International Bridge, which is the bridge that leads between Canada and the US.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting socioeconomic commentary in this one. But the weapon is primed and ready to blow up. She gets out, but can't get away in time. So she's like reeling from her injuries and tells Caitlin to run. Don't look back, run away. So she does what she says, and Charlie collapses on the ground, looking like she's done because she's been beat, she's been shot, she's been all the stuff.
Yeah.
Caitlin comes back and does the pound and brings Mo back to life. Life is tough. Deal with it. Brings it to life. And we think they're going to get away until this bastard, Timothy, you cannot kill the guy, pops up again. Like he's been thrown into the bloody river. All this kind of stuff happens. Shooting at him from a helicopter. She manages to do a cool bloody and Christmas commentary as well. Manages to get up some Christmas lights, shoot him one-handed as he falls down onto the truck. She comes down, gets up, picks up the kid. Lucky Mitch comes to save the day. They get into the car as the timer counts down, blowing the bridge and Timothy to Kingdom Come as he dies screaming. As he dies screaming like Charlie said he would. Big explosion.
So wait, did all this chemical then go into Niagara Falls?
Well, it wasn't chemical. It was a liquid explosive.
Just explode. Okay.
It wasn't a chemical It wasn't a biological weapon. It was a chemical explosion.
Okay. All right.
So we've got to pick up pieces. Charlie has a memory previously that not everything is what it seems, as we've discovered with Mr. Perkins, but also the charm bracelet that she left around Mr. Perkins' neck for safekeeping happens to be, a key to a safe deposit box with a large amount of money. So as we fade out and, it looks like they both are well and truly beaten to nearly death. They look like they're dying. We get an epilogue. It seems like Charlie Baltimore has gone away. Samantha Kane has returned. She gets a phone call as she is driving with the top down from the President of the United States, offering her a job with the State Department, which would mean she's joining the CIA. She politely declines, saying she doesn't really have an issue with the money as she pats a huge briefcase full of money. She does have one favor, however. Mitch, who we've seen is, being portrayed as a deadbeat dad, a formerly crooked cop, but a guy with a heart of gold, really. Ends up being the public face of heroism on Larry King Live. who talks all about, the real Mr. Perkins, CIA director, being indicted for treason. And that's our happy ending, as, Charlie and Caitlin and Hal sit out in a beautiful field eating dinner, saying we could stay here forever. She picks up a steak knife and hurls it into a stump and smiles. And
chefs do that.
Chefs do that. Now, chefs do that. Saying it is so much. Like, it's a 2-hour movie, and there is never a moment where you can't.
Look, this was a movie I found harder to follow as a younger person. Like, I'd really sit and watch it when I watched it again. Yeah. And actually understand what was going on, because it's still a fun ride, but I had no idea what was going on when I was younger because there's all this stuff happening. So,
and there's even more implications now. Like, when you understand like political structures and all that kind of thing, it means so much more. And I just like it's a 2-hour movie when movies didn't used to be like they like drop it for that hour and a half. Like,
yeah, especially an action flick. That's the end.
This had a lot of story to tell, and it had a lot of action, it had a lot of everything, and it kind of wrapped, and it was it was good. Now, the original budget for this sucker was $65 million, which is not a small chunk of change back in the day.
No.
It made $95.5 million. So not bad. It made back the budget. It was a small success. But the reason why it was kind of slept on and shunned for the longest time, and as I said, this movie's a cult classic, is because of the movie that came out 10 months prior that also starred Gina Davis and was directed by Rennie Harlan. Do you know what that movie is?
Absolutely not.
Cutthroat Island. One of modern cinema's biggest bombs. Yeah, that movie was a huge box office failure. Still to this day, it's still one of the biggest failures.
Okay, is it a terrible film?
Look, it again is a cult classic.
Yeah.
It's a cult classic. It's look, it's a cult classic.
So you reckon Cutthroat Island might have just sort of finished Gina off? Yeah.
There was heavy criticism of it. And Rennie Harlan blames the performance on the advertising because they dressed it up as just another action film. But director, I think it's Shane Black directed it. No, Shane Black. Producer, sorry. The producer and the writer, Shane Black, says that he thinks it was because it was a female lead. Female lead, like the first probably prominent female action, like Linda Hamilton, Terminator, like Sarah Connor is an action heroine, but this is Linda.
She wasn't lead. Yeah, Arnie was the lead.
Yeah, but we saw her character develop too. Like in Terminator, she wasn't Sarah Connor gun-toting like badass. She was Sarah Connor person. This was heavily focused on Gina Davis being the action star. You know what I mean? It's and he said it might have made more money. People told him if it was a male lead, like that was what they
ran with Samuel. Yeah.
So look, I think that this one.
I think the movie probably. The timing probably hurt it, maybe, with its reception.
Being that close to Cutthroat Island and being, they were together. They were a couple, and it was,
and it kind of didn't know its audience. Let's be honest too, because of like the female lead, and it was a very clever film, but it was also trying to appeal to that really. Just dumb, constant action stuff as well.
Do you think it was probably too smart for its own good?
I think it was too smart for its own audience at the time. Yes,
Yeah.
for its intended audience. Yes.
Yeah, but watching it back, like, there's not a lot wrong with it. I don't actually think there's anything wrong with it. I think Gina Davis is amazing, and the duality that she plays, the innocence, and of Sam, and then that badassness that is that is Charlie. She's great. Samuel L. Jackson is top tier, going 100%. The guy that plays Timothy is a fucking douche canoe. Like, you are, as I said, capital E evil. It's all good. It has, as you said, it's like we've chucked
the formula's all there. Yeah.
Bam, this is what it is.
Yeah, the formula's all there. I just think, yeah, it was just of its maybe, yeah, the audience that would go to see action flicks did want to see Arnie and Jean-Claude and whoever else, Sylvester, doing all the stuff, and maybe they weren't ready for Gina Davis of all of them.
Yeah.
Like she was, up until that point, she was not considered an action person at all, really. She was
Cutthroat Island. She was heavily,
but it bombed.
Well. Yeah,
but it bombed.
So
but prior to that, like, Gina's mostly known for Beetlejuice. Let's be honest. Yeah. Like, that's and one of her most A League of Their Own. So she was more a comedic actress, and then to have this, I don't know, people maybe didn't have faith in it. I don't know.
But it has become a cult classic.
Yeah, I think as people have aged with the film, and even new people come to it and they go, "Oh, this is a good film." I don't see what the issue is.
And so much so that Samuel L. Jackson says this is his favorite movie to watch that he was in.
Oh, there you go. Now, do you reckon a sequel could work?
This is what we're talking. This is what I was just about to mention. So, in the last pages of the original script, there was a proposal for a sequel called The Kiss After Lightning that never happened. So there was also there was reports of a sequel being planned for release in 2007, but it faded and dropped away. Cut to this year when Gina Davis was doing some promo for something. She was asked about Beetlejuice, because Beetlejuice 2, the movie that we thought was never going to happen, is in production.
Jeff keeps sending me photos of the set.
I know Jeff. I feel like Jeffrey is going to end up on the set because it's quite close to where he lives. So I feel like you're going to see Jeff in the back of Beetlejuice 2, which he would love, I'm sure. But she was asked about returning to Beetlejuice. She said she's not sure about Beetlejuice because ghosts age, so she doesn't know if her character can return.
Yeah, but they could de-age people now. You just said
they can. But the other movie they asked her about was A Long Kiss Goodnight. And Gina said her and Samuel L. Jackson talk about it constantly. They say if there's one film that they were both in that they would like to do a sequel to, it is The Long Kiss Goodnight, because there is story. And the more I think about it, of course there's, like, we are in the age of the reboot/recall now. Like, her daughter would be old enough to have a daughter. You know what I mean? Who's just say that, little Caitlin didn't maybe become a secret operative in college and has never told mum. They have to save the world together.
Oh, look, I think that there is plenty of opportunity and potential to tap there. And, if Samuel and her had such a fun time doing it, maybe it is on the cards. It might be just one of those random movies we get a sequel to.
Well, it seems to be the way. They're all happening. Like movies that we thought we would never get sequels to. As I said, Beetlejuice, Dirty Dancing, they're Ghostbusters. They're all happening. Some of them are shot, some of them are finished. So these movies that are cult classics that are now that have these big fan bases now do have the chance to live again. You just look at the success of Halloween and Scream, and we know that people love an intellectual property, and they love going back to memories that they had of the 90s and earlier and going, what happens now? So
I'm sure most people over 30, if they just showed Gina with that blonde hair again in just a quick trailer, they'd be like, we know who that is.
Yeah. I think there's three movies. You go Gina Davis, you go, Beetlejuice, A League of Their Own, Long Kiss Goodnight. So, and A League of Their Own has a TV series now. So, Gina, this is it. We're going to put it out into the universe.
Come on, Gina.
I would love to see it. I think that it would make a great sequel, a sequelized movie. Do you know what I mean? And like it could be.
We'll just be able to tell its whole new story, but just have familiar characters there.
With the familiarity of this character, because Gina Davis still looks damn good. She looks great for her age. So she
could pull off Charlie still.
Yes, Samuel L. Jackson's still doing action in a Secret Invasion at the moment for Marvel.
Samuel L. Jackson could be in anything ever, and it wouldn't matter. He'd just still be Samuel L. Jackson. It's not gonna hurt his brand. No worries.
So let's give it a score out of 5 chef knives. How many chef knives?
5 chef knives. Yeah, oh gosh. Look. Back before I could watch it with a maturer mind, I would have gave it probably a 3. Now I'll give it a 4. I think it's a solid 4 out of 5, definitely. There's lots of action. Maybe it could have benefited from a little bit of like pacing tidy up and a little bit of maybe it could have been a slightly simplified for the audience so they could access it more. It was a clever film. So yeah, I still give it definitely a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna this one. I'm not usually the biggest action person. Like I kind of need a little bit more story, but this one has the story. It has the action. It has the acting. I'm gonna give it 5. I love this movie. This is one of my go-to. If I want to go 90s,
did it grease your wheels, Bubs? Did it grease your wheels?
This fits me in my 90s. Like, going to the video shop, getting my weeklies, and a new release in 2 weeklies. Like, oh, calm down.
Oh.
This one was in my rotation. I remember getting the white cover that we saw, the white promo shot. I was like, I remember the black leather, like it was the black leather, the cool black leather, and all that kind of stuff. So it was, I love this movie. I think it's good. So if we would like to know what your rating is for The Long Kiss Goodnight. How many chef knives out of 5 do you give it? And let us know. If there is if there is another movie that you would like us to review, please let us know. Hey, we might even have you on the show. If you're an expert or a fan on a movie, let us know. We've done it before with Star Wars. We're always looking for fresh points of view. So if you're a mega fan of a movie, get in contact with us. It can't be horror, though. That is for a separate show. But we're always willing to welcome new minds and new ideas here at Uncensored Radio and, really make everything a bit more well-rounded. So thank you, Luke, for joining us tonight on
thank you. Thanks for popping my assigned seating cherry. Yeah.
Yes. So version
and I'm very glad to have been there with Gina when it happened.
Yes, if there's one person you want with you, it's Gina Davis. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and action fans everywhere. We will be back at you soon with another session of assigned seating. But until then, life is hard.
Yeah, life is hard.
See you guys.